Astute is a digital company. We are a platform for the financial services industry. We're also owned by the financial services industry, and we're really responsible for the exchange of data between the banks, insurers, and investment firms, with a primary focus of ensuring proper financial planning, and with that also fraud prevention throughout the industry.
SilverBridge is a technology company. We primarily focused in the life insurance space, and that's been our expertise for the last 25 years. In recent years, we've branched out into other financial services like banking. We're very, very strong technically, but we've always had a focus on the administration side of insurance. Nowadays, there's far more application and need for digitization, modernization of systems, and also process automation. And those are the key focuses that we have within the industry at the moment. SilverBridge actually approached Astute because we saw the potential to do something very interesting with you guys.
Yeah.
In the past, we had interacted with Astute via insurance companies, and we hadn't had, it was really an arm's length relationship. But we understood that the data that you guys are holding and the mechanism that you are working with to give metrics to insurers that really sort of expose very, very valuable insights into their customer base, into their policies. We thought we could do something interesting together.
Right. We were quite excited about the partnership, specifically around how SilverBridge handles the data, the respect that you look at the data with, and then being able to now put that algorithm on top of the data to make sense of it.
Yeah.
So the first point being not that the machine learning is only, or the algorithm is only as good as the data that it's looking at. That data means nothing if you don't have an algorithm making sense of it. And that data needs to be made sense of and then pushed forward practically and operationalized so that we have a decision.
Precisely.
And that decision can, on the one side, mitigate risk for the company, and on the other side, produce a really good client experience for your honest claimant. Again, if we're talking about that honest participant, citizen in the ecosystem, they paying for the fraud.
Yes.
If just by pure quick math, if you have an insurance company turning a profit and paying out fraudulent claims, someone's paying for that fraud, and that unfortunately is the honest claimant or the honest member of that fund. And that for me is very important because we're paying inordinately high insurance rates in the country, and that's purely because of the fraud.
Yeah.
And if we can get that out of the ecosystem, and there's been amazing work done by Ernst & Young in this, that says that the only way to combat financial crime is through industry collaboration. And we've put that on the table with many of the companies, and seeing them really come to the party and saying that they want to be able to participate in this ecosystem so that together they can combat this. Patrick, that really sits at the core of our partner strategy. We understand that we are, as a core competence, really good at being able to bring this data in, make it secure, make it compliant. But from that point going forward, there's a lot of nuance in terms of how the bank step 3 is the insurance step 4, and they do it in different ways. And I think that's where SilverBridge adds significant value, because we're bringing this data together, but then actually practically putting it into the operations of a company, being able to get them through that process with the best decision at the end. That is exactly at the heart of our partnership strategy.
Yeah.
We sit in those presentations and we're able to show on their own data the value in rands and cents.
Yes.
And we get very excited, and so do they. And I think we believe in our product, but the fact that they believe in it and say this is brilliant, and we can actually see this isn't a PowerPoint presentation. You've shown on our own data deep analytics with a very high confidence level. Here's the bottom line. Here's the return on investment. This is the value back into my business. Here's the value to my end consumer. yet we still see a delay in terms of getting that right down into someone calling in for a claim and having that experience.
Yes.
And I think that for me is where the value of the partnership comes in, is the ability not to rely on the institution's internal resources, project planning, prioritization, as we know with a lot of empathy that they are under a lot of pressure, where we can come in and add that value without them having to do any additional work,
Yes.
deprioritize any project, where we're able to come in and show immediate value as we start implementing this into their onboarding processes, claims processes, really throughout that entire customer journey, being able to add those specific value.
The efficiency side is very exciting for me. The risk mitigation should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can prevent paying out fraudulent claims and you actually have access to all the data, why don't you? This claim solution we're taking to market is really a solution that is pre-configured, it's pre-integrated, we've integrated ourselves together. It's easy to consume, but it's also easy to customize. We put that solution down with an insurance company, and we focus on specific products or specific claim types initially, so that we can very quickly, and this is in a matter of weeks, start demonstrating value that the solution brings. It's very quick and easy to be able to say to a client, if we're putting something down for you, you are very quickly going to stop paying out claims you shouldn't pay, and you're going to need less people to do it. You can repurpose those people to do something else.
Where a lot of the claims would just be paid because it's the claim amount is not worth the investigation or effort by the company. Now it's an algorithm. That algorithm runs, and it doesn't care how high that amount is, it can still generate an intelligent decision based off of a wide variety of validated data.
Yeah, 100%. That's the need that these big enterprises have. They want the whole solution brought to the table.
Correct.
Rather than having to source individual bits and pieces.
The whole solution yet customized to their process.
Absolutely.
Correct, and I think that's a big part of the value.
Standard out-of-the-box solutions don't work for most organizations.
Correct.
They have some flavor that they want to introduce. And I think the exciting thing that we agree about in the solution that we're bringing to the table is the customization comes from their experts, their people sitting within the business. They can tailor those decisions absolutely to the best claims or the best assessors or the best underwriters that they have within their business. They're not taking a generic underwriting or claims decision. They are taking John or Samantha, who sit in that department, who've got 25 years of experience, and they're just giving them more access to data, and they are using their experience and their sort of expertise in understanding what they've seen coming across their desks to make a real-time decision now.
Correct.
And that's the power of technology. I mean, bring technology, bring the data, and just use it in an intelligent way. And I think that's why we get excited about the solution.
When we started taking this down to the rands and cents and how they accept this, what we're trying to really show them is if we're looking at 5 claims a month that we were able to mitigate the risk, your system is paying for itself.
Yeah.
And I think we've been able through the analytics show that we can do in an order of magnitude more than that. And that for me is a brilliant way in how we go to market with this, and there is acceptance and effectively the adoption of the service into their processing and processes. So with that very low barrier to entry, with being able to implement that, I think it's easier for them to say, great, this is the way to go. We're not going in with an implementation time of years, with massive analytics, with infrastructure on their side. In fact, there's no requirement for infrastructure. We show the cybersecurity resilience, and that level gives them the confidence to say, but we don't even need to unlock internal resources. So that go-to-market, their reaction to our solution, I think really is spot on. And when we can relate that back to what they're selling, in effect a claim or that insurance product, and we say, listen, this is how low it is. This is what we need to mitigate. for you to have been paid this solution back and more. That's definitely easy conversation to take back to finance.
This gives the client more control over that process because they're getting real-time insight, they're getting a view that sort of runs across the timeline, where you talked about running these sort of risk views on their book on a monthly basis. Ultimately, we'd like them to have a daily view on what the risk profile of their book looks like from many different perspectives. Maybe we're not quite there yet, but I mean, I think that's the end goal.
Aiming.
Everything becomes real time. Everything is informed by appropriate data sources, curated in the right way, with the proper security in place, that you become more confident about the risk that you're taking on, and you become more concerned about the experience and the products that you're putting out there to make sure that the mechanism of taking those products to market and servicing those customers is more important than managing the risk, because the risk is then taken care of.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the exciting stuff for me.